All right, let's turn our attention now to the Premier League. Liverpool against Spurs on Sunday at Anfield. Liverpool favorites. Despite their struggles of late, just one win in their last 5 in league play. What does the table look like? Well, Liverpool third right now, 5 points back. First place. Arsenal, meanwhile, Spurs in 5th, 7 points back of Aston Villa, who are in 4th. However, Spurs with a game in hand over Villa. Ange Postecoglou, Spurs manager, has been making a lot of headlines with his comments. Let's check out the latest. I'll read you the whole Q&A here. The answer that prompted the question. When we put in a performance like we did in the first half, it meant my message wasn't getting through. The question, what message was that? The answer, come on, mate, we didn't play well. Do you want me to write you a dossier of where it went wrong? I feel like we've lost a bit of belief and conviction in our football, and that is on me to change that. All right, Jan and Frank are back with us, but Stevie, as the manager, I feel compelled to start with you. What do you make of the latest from Ange? The latest in kind of a series of weird comments,
I don't mind that. I mean, I'm not quite sure what we expect him to do, because he's quite right. I mean, is he going to dissect his team and pull out names? Mm-hmm. If he did that, we'd have a go at him for that.
Sure.
His team's struggling. They've just lost again. How is he supposed to react? You know,
if you take this in the context of the set pieces and all the other stuff, do you see him starting to lose his cool a little bit? Do you see the frustration there? Is that what we're seeing?
Again, this is about losing a game of football. The set piece thing is, he'll never do that again. Mm-hmm. You know, there's not a hope that he hasn't spent time going over set pieces. And quite frankly, I'll be shocked if the goalkeeper hasn't turned round before the Arsenal game and said, I don't want anybody fighting in front of me with white. I'll take care of it. And the manager's gone with him. And the fact that he's come out and said the wrong thing, which he did, about we've got more problems than that. And, of course, the press jump on it, that he's not interested, he's not bothered. Absolute hogwash.
And right now, I think there's some questions. It's not a tactical thing. It's not that. It's where is that Tottenham side that is going to say, I want it more than you? And I think we're starting to see a little bit of a dip because of that. And I think that's what's kind of the worrying thing for Ange, is he's going, wait a minute. I saw at the beginning of this season a fight and a desire, and I'm starting to see that dip in desire right when we need it the most. And how do I change that?
Just on that particular goal, the one thing that's glaring about it, the fact that he's not picked up,
the pick.
Nobody has even noticed he's there on his own. He's 6'3". Yeah. Guess where the ball's going, and not one person has actually taken responsibility and moved the defence around, because you have to react. You know, when you see something before a free kick's taken or a corner, whatever set piece it is, then you have to react to what the opposition do. And not one person did anything, and that would be the biggest concern.
And everybody knows their assignment before they go out. Who's supposed to be marking them? So
no, they don't. No, they don't, Kasey.
Yeah?
They don't, Kasey. That's the big problem nowadays. There is a lack of responsibility given by the coach, and I've talked about that 2 days ago, about the set pieces that they conceded against Arsenal and the conceded goals, because they do the zone marking. And not in that particular set piece, there is a cross from, I think it's Gallagher, and they are still on zone marking, so nobody takes care of Chalobah.
We're doing Postecoglou against Pochettino, the two of the most likable managers in England. And we, as pundits as well, we are more likely to give them praise. We say, yeah, but they're good. Yeah, they could get the team together. But it's all about results. And when Postecoglou says this thing about set pieces, maybe that was a slip of the tongue, maybe it's a bit old-fashioned, maybe in that department, maybe. As long as you're winning football games, then you're a cult manager. If you lose that, then you're not well prepared. So I think we have to get the nuances here as well.
Is he getting found out as a manager?
I think it's too early. I think he's had a good season. I mean, I think the other part that always seems when you talk about Tottenham is Tottenham have like the 7th or 8th biggest payroll in the Premier League.
So you're saying they're about where they should be? Or even overachieving?
They're actually overachieving for where they should be. The thought that if you're spending the money that Manchester United is spending and not getting in the Champions League, you have an argument. But if you're spending the money that Daniel Levy is spending and not getting in the Champions League, well, that's where you should be, because you're not spending the money that the other teams in the Champions League are.
I think you've got to say, though, this year is a big year for him, from a personal point of view as a coach. Because you've got to assume coaching in the Premier League is different to other places.
Of course.
It's different. And he was coming into Tottenham at a good time because the expectation was zero. There was none. Harry Kane was gone. This team was absolutely going nowhere. And so it was like a breath of fresh air. And the way he wants to play the game...
Yeah.
Listen,
That's very Tottenham too, though.
But we all want to play the way that his team plays. Unfortunately, as Jan was saying, you've got to win games, though. And so this year is going to be, particularly right now, I said the other day on the show, I think this Tottenham team's running out of juice. Yeah. And so for Postecoglou, this is an exercise in how far do I push them and when do I push them?
So it's a style thing.
But it's all these questions. Do I do less in training? Do I do more at the end of the season? Do I do less? So many questions.
Is it a style you're convinced will work in the Premier League eventually?
No.
He has to figure out how you can't do what they do at their best for 90 minutes. You can't.
But he seems unwilling to relent on that.
If you're going to let me tell you, I'll tell you. He has to figure out that there will be times in games where they can't do that. And then he has to make sure that what they do is they get into a good defensive shape wherever he decides to do it, and then they don't let teams get at them. Because right now, and all season, there are holes everywhere when they don't have the ball. Those are all the questions that he has to ask himself. But it won't be till next season, because this year is a free hit for him, basically, because of what he picked up at the start of the season.
But when you spend time at Tottenham and you understand kind of the way the fans want the team to play, and back from the Ozzy Ardiles days to and it was this super expansive attack, reckless, go for it,
naive, some might say at times. Yeah.
Well. And then you bring in a Mourinho, and then you bring in a Conte, or a George Graham, and the fans are kind of smashing their head against a wall, going, "Okay, wait a minute here. This isn't what we want. We don't want this defensive, grind-out 1-0 result." It'd be like the next manager at Spurs is going to be Diego Simeone. No, I mean that's not what Spurs want. But they have to be able to find that balance between not just being reckless defensively and think we're going to win every game 4-3. We have to be able, on the odd day, to Stevie's point, grind out a 1-0 when it's not going well. We can't just say we're going to do it this way, we're going to score 5 goals and win a game, or we're going to lose. Because you're not going in the Champions League like that.
You know who wants that, at least based on their prediction? Frank. Frank's got a 0-0 between Liverpool and Spurs on Sunday. You got to explain that one, LeBouf. What? Is it getting rained out or what?
No, because I think those two clubs have resigned for any ambition in the Premier League, and I really think that players are disappointed. Everybody's frustrated. Coach are showing some disappointments as well. So I don't see anything good coming out of it. It's why I put a 0-0, because I don't see anything good coming out of it. I think it's a good thing that for Spurs that they qualify for Europa League and not Champions League, because it's a new generation and it's good for Ange to discover something different with that club and build something from there. And Klopp is leaving. We can feel the frustration and the tension that you have with Mo Salah, for example. So again, I don't see anything good coming. So I didn't want to give another result because it's not going to bring anything good. It's not going to bring anything better for those two clubs. It's why I put a 0-0.
Yeah, and you got Spurs losing here. They're 7 points back with 4 games left. They do have the game in hand, as we mentioned, over Villa. If they lose, are we saying that's it on the top 4 chances?
Yeah, I think that's it. And as we know now that England won't get that 5th position to get into the Champions League, so that is Tottenham going into Europa League. The reason I do 3-1 for Liverpool is that Well, the Hollywood ending of that Klopp era, that didn't help. And I just looking at Frank today, I was thinking if they made a film out of Klopp's farewell season, he should play Klopp. He looks like Klopp. He's like that kind of macho guy. So Frank LeBeouf will be my favorite for that part. But I just hope.
Better wear a hat.
Yeah. And I just say, I hope that for Klopp's time at Liverpool, now he got a win at the end of a couple of wins at the end of the season, because it's a bit sad, and it was very sad to see what happened, because the connection between him and the team has been fantastic. At least we've seen everything like that, and then we're all former footballers. We know that it's not always like it's pretend to be in a dressing room, but still that connection has been well. So I think that Liverpool will try to come back from that West Ham game, and we're talking about. Maybe Frank's result is the best because there are two teams without juice or whatever you said, Stevie, that we've seen now. Liverpool against West Ham as well. It was just like, let's get to the end of the season. Let's get a new coach. Let's get someone from Holland, and then we start again.
Stevie, given everything that's happened in the last couple weeks, you think Salah should start this game?
Salah will start this game. Absolutely. Yeah. No danger. Mm-hmm. Klopp's come out and said they've sorted it out. He's had his break. Klopp's made his point, not starting him, quite rightly. Didn't deserve to start the way he was playing, but he will absolutely start this game. And I expect Liverpool to win this game comfortably, to be honest with you. I think the feeling around the place will go when the whistle goes and the crowd gets behind him. And you know Klopp's going to whip everybody up, not just the crowd, but his players. So I see this as a comfortable victory for Liverpool.